One question that is sure to be asked is, why do you have 40 masseuses? All right, let's work on an answer for that. You know, I have the answer. Deshaun said, here's what I'm going to say to that. When they ask why would I have so many masseuses, I have to say, hey, listen, that was over a 5-year period. And I've got a team of people who are helping me in different places that I am, and they can't get the same person, so they're getting different people. It was the greatest bunch of horse hockey I thought I would hear in the whole press conference. Listen, I like masseuses. I like massages. No question about it. 40? 40? I'm not sure that's right. I mean, you could talk even more about the number of people. We hire masseuses to take care of players. We bring in one per season. Sometimes they have a backup. You've got two. Of course, Coca, being in the media, would have asked him, hey, during that same 5-year period, do you go to 40 different barbers? Well, I can tell you right now, players go to the same barber. Players fly in their barber from around the country. Fly in the barber to get the same haircut before an All-Star game, before a playoff game, before an appearance in the media. It's a shout-out to you, Hugo Juice, the barber of the Marlins. Yeah, he gets flown everywhere. People come to him, he goes to them. Stylists, drivers, Coco was having a field day with this. 40? It's absurd. So then you say to Deshaun, is that what you're going to stick with? Because I don't like that answer. It's going to make you come off badly. And Deshaun said, don't worry, because when the next question comes, I'm going to come off even worse, and people will forget about the 40 answer. People are going to say to me, hey, do you have any regrets about any of this, how this all went down? And wait till you get a load of what I'm going to say. I'm going to say no. Why would I have any regrets? I didn't do anything wrong. Do you need to go to therapy? Therapy? I don't have any problems. Well, 23 lawsuits. It's pretty good. We talked about the people who go to sex addiction therapy, or they check themselves into rehab after they get caught with a DUI, or they get caught having an affair, then they're a sex addict. DUI, I take Ambien or pills or whatever. You're always after the fact, right? You get accused of bad behavior in front of 40 masseuses. You say, ooh, I guess I need to do some work. You say you want to be paid and play golf in Saudi Arabia. You take personal time and miss the Masters and say, I need to better myself. Deshaun Watson doubled down and said, problems? Problems? Got no problems. Did his best Jim Mora playoffs imitation. So I'm thinking Deshaun Watson's performance was a D-. He could have met the media with a far better prepared statement. And then people criticized me on Twitter saying, David, he can't possibly say anything that would hurt him in his civil cases. Well, I'm a lawyer too. And the answer is, of course he could have. You can apologize and say you've got regret for how people feel about an action that you did not take or that they perceived you took. You could say that you feel regret to have women ever be put in a position where they feel that there is something that has happened to them, but maintain that I didn't do that. You can explain why you fly masseuses around the entire country without having any implications to the 23 civil suits. And you can come up with a better one than that's what my team does for me. So the governor was very clear and said, listen, I had 3 goals. Number 1, we had to keep the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo because I'm the governor and I want to make sure that people upstate, by the way, down here in New York City, Long Island, Westchester, couldn't care less. Could try, but couldn't care less whether the Buffalo Bills are in Buffalo or Saskatchewan, because Buffalo is the same as Saskatchewan when you're on the Upper West Side, or even in Tribeca or NoHo or Soho or Blowho. That's a place that I don't really go. Okay, 1, keep the Bills in Buffalo. All right, that's a very important thing. And you need the politicians to want it and need it. 2, this is a good one. I can't even tell you this, but it's pretty funny. She said, It's important that the project will benefit the hardworking men and women of Western New York, too. So they negotiated to make this a union construction project. Let me explain to you why politicians want there to be union labor. Because the unions donate money to the political campaigns. They do it through PACs. So they pool all their money and they give huge sums of money. So you've got different city commissioners and county commissioners and senators and congresspeople and governors who are all pro-union. The irony is the overwhelming majority of workers are not part of a union. But the ones who are in the union have representation because they've got union dues, which actually just go to politicians, thinking that the politicians will then make sure that these union laborers get exclusive rights to work on a job. And if that's true, then the electricians union can go to the non-union members and say, hey, if you don't want your company to unionize, that's fine, but then they're not going to get to work on the Bills Stadium. And then the president of the non-union shop says, wow, I'm going to miss out on building a ballpark or a football stadium? And all I have to do to get the job is to pay people 3x what I pay them right now? Let me do some math. Let me get out my spreadsheet. Let me do a little Lotus 1, 2, 3. Nope. Howie Mandel, hit the button. No deal. You go up to the owners and you say, hey, listen, we need union workers here. We need to be able to say that there's 10,000 union jobs. Now, some of those jobs last for a week or for 2 weeks. And are you getting all the supplies from locally sourced? You getting it from the steel mills? Getting all your rebar from New York? I don't want to blow everyone's view of this ballpark deal. Because she said it's very important that the hardworking men and women of Western New York are taken care of. Okay, what's number 3? This is a good one. Can we get the best deal for the taxpayers? We've got to get the best deal for the taxpayers. They all say that. They don't mean it. They don't get the best deal for the taxpayers because the best deal for the taxpayers would not involve any stadium financing. So you don't have to be a graduate student in PR communications or in crisis communications to know couple of the subjects that are going to come up when he takes the microphone. 1, 2, and 3 are going to be Deshaun Watson, Deshaun, and Watson. I guess that'd be 4. You know you're going to get asked about it because the owners have been very public about this. It's been a huge topic of conversation, what the Browns did, the guaranteed money they gave to Deshaun Watson. We're going to talk about what the Ravens owner did in this regard because you do not see this. You do not see what the Baltimore Ravens owner did. But first, Goodell had to answer, what are you doing with Watson? No grand jury has indicted him, so apparently there's no criminal charges, but what's your plan? So Goodell had a word to say, and he had to be very careful, but what he said was interesting. He had to acknowledge, and he did, that obviously these are serious charges, and he doesn't mean the criminal charges, so we're looking at it seriously. Okay, I would have workshopped that a little bit, meaning if they're not serious charges, we don't look at it seriously. I don't know how you can decide whether the charges are serious unless you seriously look at it. I guess you judge in advance when someone charges something. Hey, that person wouldn't hold my hand. Well, I guess that's not serious. I'm not going to look at that seriously. That person raped me. Ooh, that's serious. I guess we have to convene a real COCA council here and look at that seriously. Goodell said the personal conduct policy is something that's very important to us, despite evidence to the contrary. That's me, not him. And it does not need a criminal violation in order to pursue it. What does football do? How do we let them get away with what they get away with? Is it because they're the NFL and we love them so much and we love the sport so much we love to bet on it, we love fantasy, we love to talk about it, we love to think about it, we love the violence of it, so therefore we let all ills be covered by our love? It's just crazy to me. So we invested and approved as part of the International Committee an investment in India. because we wanted to have money that is in India for all the people. So we wanted to find a player. So we put money in to have little leagues and start developing young players. This is 20 years old, and we haven't developed anybody. There were 2 Indian players who played for the Pirates in the minor league system, didn't sniff the major leagues, never became popular, and eventually the investment in India stopped. How about a European, a London player, because London wants games. The NFL already has a foothold in London. MLB is totally jealous of that. That's why, as part of this new collective bargaining agreement, there are going to be games internationally, not just in London. Pre-approved, so we don't have to argue with the union. That's $1 fine, Coca. Pre-approved so they don't have to argue with the union. London, Germany, they want to play in France. You got to get Europe. You got to find a way to expand into Europe. You got to get people buying MLB jerseys, not just Yankee hats where they don't even know what team it is. They just know that people wear them, so it's fashionable. You've got to get bigger broadcast deals, bigger promotional money where a group of people in a country pay MLB to host games. Why are there games in Puerto Rico? There was a promoter in Puerto Rico who would pay MLB money that would guarantee MLB no risks to MLB. MLB was making money, and that money was being split amongst 30 teams. The teams who would play in Puerto Rico got extra money as well. So promoters are paying for the right to have baseball. Korea. How do you not want South Korea as a market for you? Now, maybe Hee-Seop Choi was not available. Maybe he's not able to hit home runs anymore. I don't know. But that would have been a great get for MLB. Got to be more famous than Giovanni Soto, right? Like, you bring these people to South Korea and the people say, who are these people? This is not the Red Sox, Yankees, and Dodgers and Cubs. This is like a strange sort of Saturday of All-Star Weekend celebrity softball tournament. And there's gimmicks of you hit home runs, or you can catch the ball, or you can hit targets. And MLB's trying to convince you that this is going to be fun. This is going to be hip. Roger Goodell's had enough. The other owners have had enough. You are nothing but a pain in their neck, and you have been for a decade. And now the juice is not worth the squeeze. Dan Snyder will be forced and will sell the Washington Commanders prior to 2024. He's going to have another year, maybe another 2 as part of an agreement, but Dan Snyder's done. So for all you fans of the Red Anders, celebrate the fact that this tenure is coming to an end, but be careful what you wish for, because sometimes the devil you know.